Hi, I'm Mark White. I'm Managing Director of Bargate Homes. We are an SME developer that is based in Hampshire. We predominantly develop within 45 minutes of our head office, which is based just outside Winchester. We are a subsidiary of Vivid Housing, so they acquired us back in 2019. We predominantly build 2, 3, 4-bed family homes, and on top of that, we will do our affordable homes through the Section 106 housing, and we will put some additionality into affordable homes via Homes England funding. As we climb out of what's been called a technical recession, we've been warned that the Treasury don't want Mr. Hunt to give too much away. I'm expecting a bit of a Hail Mary or a last throw of the dice. This is the last chance that they've got prior to the local elections. And certainly, if the general election is during October, November time, they want a feel-good factor feeling in the minds of all the voters. The government need to convince the sway vote to go with them. I'm expecting more of a cost of living emphasis rather than anything that is housing led. So any activity that can stimulate, our market, whether it is affordability for, first time buyers, anything along that front will help. The prospect of 99% mortgages has been floated, but it's not without its critics. It could work as long as the interest rate is set at a reasonable level and not at a premium, and the mortgagees aren't punished for only having a 1% deposit. What we really need is a new version of Help to Buy that helps first-time buyers access the market and help boost probably the area that we are underperforming the most in. During the first Help to Buy, we were selling 20% of our homes to first-time buyers. In the last 12 months, it's gone down to 8%. Well, with the opposition talking up housing during the last 6 to 9 months, I'm hopeful that the noise created by them and by the HBF and by the media, that Mr. Hunt has actually got his listening ears on. I think there's been a lot of talk around a new Help to Buy. I think that the government have been putting feelers out to make sure that, if it does come in, that it will be well received. All the SME forums that I sit on, it's the one big topic other than planning that we all talk about, is that we need help at the beginning of the journey for our new customers. It would be good if the government helps subsidies for green mortgages and more support for developers that are early adopters of the Future Home Standard. To demonstrate their commitment to net zero, it would be good to have a stamp duty rebate system that helps anyone who's got an EPC A or B rated, that there is some form of support within the interest rates, either a reduction that's subsidised by the government. If the government take the money from the energy price cap that they're reducing and put that back into the economy via a price cap for interest rates for first-time buyers, I think that would help greatly. If we could build more homes, the industry would generate more revenue. But planning at the moment and planning policies are achieving the opposite. The more significant increase in costs that have been passed on to us as house builders over the last 5 years with nitrates, Future Home Standards, phosphates, energy, etc. It's costing us another £5,000 to £7,500 a house to build. That's being borne by the customer. Unfortunately, by the time we bought the land, there's nowhere to go at the bottom end of the chain. With the push for brownfield development over and above anything that's going to be in class as what is currently a green belt, what we're going to do is we're going to drive development back into the cities. By doing that, we will squeeze out a lot more of the SMEs in the market. SMEs traditionally build family houses in rural areas. So by going back into the city, what we're going to do is have a lot of ugly high-rise, which is either being built by the nationals who have the funding and the expertise to do so, or it is welcoming back in joint venture money from abroad. And when things go wrong, you have no one that you can actually get hold of to, rectify the buildings. We found after Grenfell that a lot of the historic buildings that have got a problem have foreign owners, and there is no retribution for the course to get them to put it right. So as an industry, we're having to go back and retrofit for someone else's mistake. I think the new policy will push us back into a lot more high-rise brownfield inner city developments. It's not a surprise that we're in the position, given there's been a lack of airtime from either the PM or the Secretary of State over the last term for positive news about housing. There seems to be a backbench revolt that they would rather listen to than actually come out and speak to the developers and speak to the local communities. When they have spoken, it is all been about land banking and greenbelt, and certainly the CMA have said in their recent report that we're not land bankers. It is a negative side effect of the planning policies that they put in place. Planning policies are in place because of the backbench revolt. There needs to be stronger leadership. There needs to be, go back to the old-fashioned days of getting the whip, and the whip telling the backbenchers to get in line with what the government wants to do. We need a very strong government that recognises that house building is going to help the economy, it's going to help sustainability, it's going to bring us to our net zero targets for carbon emissions. No one else in any other industry is being pushed as hard as we are to achieve net zero carbon. We are an easy target, and we are one that can be punished via either having to pay additional monies into the system through nitrate credits, or coming through to hitting our bottom line from going, okay, we're going to switch gas off from 2025. All great things, but we're the only ones out here as a lone voice being able to do it. We need some strong leadership from the next government that are going to promote house building and take us into the future where my children and future generations of children can get onto the housing ladder. The big step forward is Labour have certainly been talking about being a party of home ownership, which it's always been the Tory strapline. What we actually need is, and I have no worry which colour it's going to be, as long as they are here to promote house building and sustainability.